What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and today was actually supposed to be my ABC Punk Therion combo video, but I told you guys I would do that when we got to 100 likes, and it's not quite at 100 likes yet, so go ahead and make sure you like that video. Instead, we're going to be doing a must-know combo tutorial for branded Despia. I told you guys if it got enough likes, I would go ahead and do one. That was a couple weeks ago, and you guys smashed it on those likes, so we're finally going to go ahead and do it now that we have a day with nothing else planned. So let's go ahead and show you guys the combos. Alright, so we're going to start things off with a slightly revised version of the combo I showed you guys at the end of the deck profile, and the reason it's slightly revised is because this is a slightly different build. Maybe if you guys want, I'll give you an updated deck profile, but for now it is just a very small change, and it actually ends a little bit more explosively, so let's show you guys what we do. It's going to be a 2-card combo starting with both a Luber and Rebellion, so let's show you guys how it goes. We're going to go ahead and start using the Rebellion. This is going to let us add our copy of Saronir from our deck to our hand, and then we can go ahead and normal summon out our Luber, and the Luber will activate to search us our copy of Branded Fusion. Here what we can do is we'll activate our Branded Fusion, and this is going to send both the Fallen of Albaz and the Tri-Brigade Mercurier, and this is going to summon out our copy of Rindbrum. Now that we have the Mercurier in the graveyard, we can go ahead and use the Saronir, summoning itself by banishing out our Mercurier, and since the Mercurier is getting banished, that will activate the Mercurier effect, which will then let us add our copy of Blazing Cartesia from our deck to our hand. Here we're going to tribute off our Saronir. This is going to allow us to special summon back out the Bestial Rebellion from our graveyard, which will then activate the Saronir because it was sent to graveyard, letting us send a branded spell or trap, and of course we're going to go ahead and send our branded Retribution. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Bestial Rebellion. This lets us activate a branded continuous spell or trap. So we're going to go ahead and activate the branded Lost, and now we're able to pretty much just pop off. We're going to special summon our Cartesia from our hand because we have an Albaz in the grave, and then we can use the effect of Cartesia to fuse herself and the Luber into our copy of Dusk Dragon. Now what we can do is we can do a couple of things here. We're going to activate Dusk Dragon as Chainlink 1, Branded Lost as Chainlink 2, or if you feel that the search is more important, you can do it reverse. You can go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Doesn't really matter, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the Lost to add our copy of Albion, and then we'll be able to use the Dusk Dragon, which will send our copy of Ad Libitum from our deck to our grave. Now this is where it is changing up from the combo that I showed you guys in the deck profile, because now we have an Ad Libitum in grave where we didn't in the previous combo. Next, what we can do is we can go ahead and use the effect of Albion in our hand. This is going to send a copy of Branded in White from the deck to the graveyard, and then put itself back on the bottom of our deck and draw a card. For example, we're just going to go ahead and draw something that isn't a combo extender, just so you guys know that the draw does not matter, especially because we're actually going to end up discarding it, because what we're going to do now is, because we have the Branded Retribution, we can go ahead and banish that, and this is going to add the Branded in White from our grave to our hand, which we can then activate, and since we are using a Albaz, we can banish the materials from the grave. So we're going to go ahead and banish the Saronir as well as the Albaz, and this is going to summon out a copy of Lubellion the Searing Dragon. Lubellion the Searing Dragon is going to allow us to discard a card to then fusion summon again, so we're going to go ahead and discard the card that we drew, which is why it doesn't really matter, and that's going to put both the Albaz and the Lubellion back into the deck to summon out our copy of Mirror Jade. Now here what we're going to do is we're going to be able to activate the Mirror Jade effect to send 4 cost the Albion from the extra deck to the graveyard, and then we can activate the Rindbrum effect to negate the activation of the Mirror Jade. Now the bounce is optional, so we're not going to bounce anything, but we just wanted to make sure that we got the Albion in graveyard, and then now the Mirror Jade is still live on the next turn since it technically got negated. So what we can do here is we can go ahead and proceed to end phase. This will allow us to activate our Albion, which will then set our copy of Branded in Red from our deck to the field, and that is going to be the full setup. We have an interruption with Rindbrum, an interruption with Mirror Jade, a pseudo interruption with the Dusk Dragon. When we use the Branded in Red, we're going to be able to add back our Ad Libitum, which when we add the Ad Libitum, we'll make the Guardian Chimera using it, the Mirror Jade, and something else. That's another interruption for our opponent as well, not to mention we get draws out of it, and the Ad Libitum will also be able to resummon the Mirror Jade, allowing you to Mirror Jade once more, and I completely forgot, but in the end phase, the Cartesia is also going to return to hand, so you have that for the follow-up as well. So that's, what, like 6-7 interruptions off of just 2 cards, and I think that's insane. Let's show you guys the next combo. So for combo number 2, this is a way to force yourself into the Branded Fusion if you don't have it, and it is a 2.5 card combo. It requires both the Cartesia, the Lost, and then any light or dark monster, so we're just going to use Dark Magician here to simulate any just dark monster monster that doesn't do anything. Let me show you guys what we're going to do. So we're going to start off by activating our copy of Branded Lost, and then we can normal summon our Cartesia and use the Cartesia effect to fuse using the Light or Dark. This is going to go ahead and summon out your Dust Dragon, and then you get both of these effects again. You can chain them in whatever order you want, whatever you feel is more important to block, but essentially we're going to add the Albion off of the Lost, and the Dust Dragon is going to send the Saronir. Because the Saronir was sent, we can go ahead and send our copy of Branded Retribution, and now we're set up to force ourselves into the Branded Fusion. We'll go ahead, we'll activate the Albion, which will send the Branded Fusion from our deck to the graveyard, putting itself at the bottom and drawing a card. Again, the draw card does not matter, so we're just going to show you guys a useless card because it's just going to get discarded later in the combo. And now we're able to add the Branded Fusion back to our hand by banishing out the copy of Retribution, and this gets us our Branded Fusion. Now what we'll do is we'll activate the Branded Fusion, and here we're going to summon Albion. This is going to send the Fallen of Albaz and the Rebellion, and bring the Albion out, and then we can go ahead and activate the Albion effect. This is going to banish the Fallen of Albaz and a Dark monster, so we'll use the Saronir. It doesn't matter, you could use whatever you sent off the Cartesia if it was Dark, but we'll show you guys with the Saronir. And this is going to go ahead and go into the Rebellion. Now we'll be able to activate the Rebellion effect, discarding for cost. This is going to put itself back along with our Albaz, and this is going to summon out our copy of Mirror Jade. Now what we can do here is we'll tribute the Albion for the Bestial Rebellion, and then we can activate a Branded Beast from our deck, giving us another form of interruption, and then we'll proceed to the end phase. We'll activate the effect of the Albion, and this will go ahead and actually set our copy of Branded Banishment from the deck, because if we look at our grave, we don't have any targets for Branded in red. So we also get to add back the Cartesia in end phase as well. So that was off of 3 cards, technically a 2.5 card combo. We added one back, so we have a 3-card hand, we have an interruption with a Mirror Jade, a Branded Banishment, which can summon back out our Albion since it was properly summoned. That will probably let us super poly our opponent or go into something a little bit more impactful like a Predaplant Dragos Despia. We have a pop off the Branded Beast, and as soon as we fuse off the Banishment, we're going to be able to add a Mercurier. So again, that is quite a few interruptions for our opponent to play through. 9 times out of 10, I'd say they're probably not going to be able to break that board. Let's show you guys the next combo. Combo number 3 is going to be another 2.5 card combo, so 3 cards, but the third card doesn't necessarily matter. In this case, it is just any card that you are able to discard, so you need a Luber, Fusion Deployment, and a discard. Let's show you guys what we do, and this actually plays around cards like Imperm or Effect Veiler. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off with the Fusion Deployment, and this is going to summon out our Cartesia by revealing the Dust Dragon, and that is how we're able to play through Imperm, because now when we normal summon our Aliber and activate the effect to search a Branded Fusion, if they Imperm or Veiler you just go ahead and fuse, doesn't really matter, but we're just going to show you guys the typical line. So now we have the Branded Fusion. We're going to go ahead and activate the Branded Fusion. We're going to send our Albaz and our Rebellion, and this is going to make our Albion the Branded Dragon. Now we're going to do things a little bit strange here because we want to make sure we put a Dark in our graveyard. So we're going to Chainlink 1 Albion to go ahead and fuse by banishing materials from the grave, but then we're going to Chainlink 2 Cartesia, putting itself and the Luber into the graveyard because Luber is the Dark that we need. So the Cartesia is going to go ahead and summon the Dust Dragon. Albion's going to resolve, banishing the Luber and our Albaz, and this is going to go ahead and get our copy of Rebellion. Now we're going to Chainlink 1 Rebellion, Chainlink 2 Dust Dragon. The Rebellion has to discard for cost, but then the Dust Dragon is going to go ahead and send Ad Libitum. This is for follow-up on our opponent's turn, as well as just being able to have another interruption. The Rebellion resolves, putting itself back along with the Albaz, and this is going to summon out our copy of Mirror Jade. Now we can go ahead and tribute our Albion to summon back out our copy of Bestial Rebellion, and then we can use the Bestial Rebellion to activate the copy of Branded Lost from our deck. We'd proceed to end phase here. This is going to allow us to use the Albion to set our copy of Branded in red, and then don't forget that because a fusion is there as well, we'll get our Cartesia back in our hand, and now we are in a very similar position as we were to the last combo, but we were able to play through a potential interruption like Imperm or Effect Veiler. We have a Branded in red, we have a Mirror Jade, a Dust Dragon. We'll be able to search our Mercurier as soon as we Branded in red. The Branded in red's obviously going to go into something like a Guardian Chimera, and the card that we're going to use Branded in red in tandem with is the Ad Libitum. Ad Libitum is going to summon back the Mirror Jade again for another form of disruption, and since you're using Mirror Jade twice, you're going to probably send another Albion, getting you a Branded Fusion for the follow-up. So this not only plays several interruptions into your opponent's turn, but also gives you guaranteed follow-up for the next turn. Now, for these last two combos, I actually saw these from RevzCards, so go ahead and make sure you check out that channel. Huge shout out to him. These combos are amazing, and I wouldn't know about them if it wasn't for the video he posted yesterday, so I just want to show you guys. Hopefully he doesn't mind that I'm showing it to you, but definitely go ahead and check him out. I'll link him in the description down below as well. But yeah, so this is going to be a 1.5 card combo. It's using Keeper of the Dragon magic and any card to discard, so that card doesn't matter, which is why it is a 1.5 card combo. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start things off by normal summoning out the Keeper of Dragon magic, and this is going to allow us to discard to search for a fusion spell. We're going to go ahead and search for the instant fusion. Here we're going to activate the instant fusion, and this is going to summon out the Predaplant Ambulo Melodies, which we can then activate on summon to add a Predaplant monster. We're going to add the Bufalicula because Bufalicula is actually just another copy of Polymerization when it's in the scale, so it ends up coming up really it comes up a lot, especially when you want to make things like a Guardian Chimera, because it has to be summoned using a spell effect, so this is just a really good card to have. We're going to go ahead and use the Ambulo Melodies, tributing away our Keeper of Dragon magic, and this is going to summon out the copy of Darlingtonia Cobra. Darlingtonia Cobra on summon is going to search for a fusion spell as well, which gets us into our copy of Branded Fusion. Now here, before using the Branded Fusion, we're going to go ahead and activate the Bufalicula. This is going to allow us to fuse using both the Darlingtonia Cobra and the Ambulo Melodies. This is important because we want the Ambulo Melodies in graveyard for the next part of the combo. That's going to go ahead and summon out our Dragostapelia. Now the reason this combo is really cool is because a lot of memes are going around about how this deck gets FTK'd by Ash, and this kind of prevents that because now even if they Ash or Branded Fusion, you still have a negate plus 3 other cards in your hand, so it just kind of adds a little bit of a higher ceiling. But now we're going to go ahead and activate our Branded Fusion. This is going to send the Fallen of Albaz and the Lubellion, and here we're going to go ahead and make the Albion the Branded Dragon. Now we can use the Albion to go ahead and banish out the Fallen of Albaz and the Ambulo Melodies, and this is going to get us into our Mirror Jade. Next, what we can do is we can go ahead and tribute away the Albion to summon out our copy of Lubellion, and then Lubellion, of course, can go ahead and activate a copy of Branded Lost from our deck, and then we can proceed to end phase, which will let us use the effect of the Albion. This is going to set a Branded Banishment. Again, we don't have any targets for our Branded in red, but because this was properly summoned, we'll be able to summon it off of the Banishment, and that gets us a little bit further, especially if we go into something like a second Dragostapelia. We can use this one to negate, we can Banishment, summon this out, make a second Dragostapelia. We still have our Mirror Jade. The Lost, as soon as we fuse off the Banishment, is going to get us a Mercurier. So again, that's quite a few interruptions off of a very minimal commitment. And for the 5th and final combo, again, once more, shout out to RevzCards. I would not know about this line without him, but this is going to be really cool. It is a 2.5 card combo requiring Keeper of the Dragon magic, a Branded Fusion, as well as any card to discard, so that is again the half because the discard does not necessarily matter. And this is actually going to even play around things like getting your Branded Fusion ashed, as well as putting up a negate on your 5th summon, making you immune to Nibiru as well. Let's show you guys what we do. So we're going to start things off the same way as the last combo. We're going to go ahead and summon the Keeper of the Dragon magic. This is going to use the discard to search out our copy of Instant Fusion, which we can then activate to summon out our copy of Ambulo Melodies, and on summon the Ambulo Melodies is going to search us our copy of Bufalicula. Now, last combo, we went ahead and tributed the Keeper, but this time we're actually going to go ahead and tribute the Ambulo Melodies. This is going to go ahead and get us our copy of Darlingtonia Cobra, and the really, really funny thing here is that because Darlingtonia searches for a Fusion spell card, we can actually go ahead and search for Fusion Deployment. Now, the reason we had to get rid of the Ambulo Melodies is because we wanted to keep Keeper of Dragon magic on the field, and this is why. We're going to go ahead and activate our Fusion Deployment, revealing our copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Now, because Red Eyes Dark Dragoon was revealed, we can summon out a Dark Magician from our deck, and now we've summoned 4 times. We're going to activate the Bufalicula, and for our 5th summon, we're going to go ahead and use the Bufalicula, fusing the Dark Magician and the Keeper of Dragon magic into our copy of Dragoon. So now, in 5 summons, we have an Omni-Negate on our board, meaning that we are immune to Nibiru, but more importantly, we can go ahead and activate our Branded Fusion, and we won't have to be ashed. We do have other cards in our hand for the discard cost of the Dragoon, but we're going to use the Branded Fusion to go ahead and send the Albaz and the Lubellion, and same as before, we are going to summon out our Albion. Now here, Albion is going to be able to fuse away using the Albaz and the Ambulo Melodies once more into our copy of Mirror Jade. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and tribute off our Albion. This is going to let us summon back out our Bestial Lubellion, and then the Bestial Lubellion will be able to go ahead and activate our copy of Branded Lost. we can go ahead and proceed to end phase once more, using the Albion effect to set our copy of Branded Banishment, and now we have pretty much the same thing that we ended on last time, except instead of the Dragos Despia as our negate, we actually have a Dragoon, which is a stronger negate because it's not just for monster effects. Then we'll be able to go ahead and Branded Banishment. That's going to get us into a Dragos Despia, meaning that we do still have another form of negate because we can reborn our Albion, fusing the Albion and the Darlingtonia Cobra into a copy of Dragos Despia. Of course, that activates the loss to get us our Mercurier. Of course, we also still have the Mirror Jade, so again, a very, very large handful of interruptions for our opponent to play through, not to mention because Banishment is a super poly-like effect, we can even use it as a way to clear monsters on their side of the board as well, and those are going to be the combos. And there you guys have it. That is going to be 5 must-know branded Despia combos for the March 2023 format. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something. If you did, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, share with friends, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget to get the ABC video up to 100 likes if you want to see the combo tutorial for that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.